Hey everyone, it's me, Ivana Mil Elizondo from Silver Moon Astrology and Transpersonal Counseling, also known as Silver Moon Counseling. And I'm here because we have the full moon in Virgo on Tuesday, the 18th at 2:42 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I just wanted to touch base and kind of give you an idea of what that full moon might entail. And I don't have my chart with me like I usually do, but I do have it here and I'm just going to show it to you. And I know this doesn't really count and you might not be able to see it clearly. There we go. Okay, that's what it looks like. Whatever. I'm actually recording on my phone, so sorry, bear with me. Okay, so what does this full moon in Virgo mean? So let's just kind of review what the full moon represents, and then we can go into what the energy of Virgo and maybe some of the other cosmic energy that might be influencing this full moon. So let me just try to get my crown in order. Feels like it's a bird nest. It drives me nuts. Okay, anyways, so full moon. So the full moon is really about it's when obviously it's a full moon, so the moon is opposite the sun, which means that there is a light shining on the moon, right? The moon represents our emotions, our default emotional response. It represents the place we feel safe. It represents those subconscious tendencies. And so when the moon is opposing the sun, we have this sudden insight, this sudden awareness, right? It's lit up in the skies. And so it represents maybe something coming to light, maybe something from the subconscious being brought up to the conscious awareness. Or maybe it's just shining light and just going, aha, wow, this is what's going on. So it's a time of awareness, external awareness. The new moon is internal awareness. That's why we write our intentions during our new moon. But during the full moon, we release those, right? We energetically send all that energy out into the universe. So again, it's a time of self-awareness. It's a time of insight. It's a time of exploration, external exploration. So then let's add Virgo. So the energy of Virgo. Virgo is an earth mutable sign. And I've always described Virgo as sand, right? So it's, you pick up a handful of sand and it's just kind of fall through your fingers, but it's still earth, it's still sand. And so Virgo energy tends to want to focus on all of those individual grains of sand. It likes to look at the details. It's very data oriented. It's the researcher of the zodiac. It likes to focus on all of those details. Problem is that sometimes when it focuses too much on the details, it can get caught up and not be able to pull itself out and have a bird's eye view of the information or the situation or what's going on. And so when you start focusing too much on the details, sometimes you start noticing all of the flaws. So Virgo energy needs to be very careful because sometimes it can become critical. It could be judgy, and especially self-critical and self-judgy. It can create reasons why things are not going to work. It's a very practical, oriented earth sign, and it likes to be more in the mental capacity because it's ruled by Mercury, but it can still overthink, overanalyze, become overly anxious. On the more higher vibration, it can become, more mentally engaged. It enjoys that strategy, that earth quality, that foundational researching aspect, right? It's also known as the healer of the zodiac. So there's a natural caretaking, healing, service to others energy that happens with Virgo. And so when we put all of this together, maybe this full moon is asking you to shine light on those areas in your life where maybe you need to be of service to others. Maybe you need to focus on certain parts or details of your life experience, but not all of them. Maybe there's something that needs to, be brought to life that you need to tap into in order to, energize that healing essence. This Virgo energy can be really critical And so maybe part of this is, hey, where am I being overly critical, right? Or maybe where am I being overly self-critical or judgy? Or likewise, where do I need to pay more attention to those parts of me that maybe aren't working so well? Not all of it, but maybe those parts, right? And bringing healing to those parts. So this Virgo energy is going to be very interesting too, because the moon is also opposing not only the sun, but Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces, okay? And to some extent, maybe even on a large orb degree, Mercury. So this Neptune and Jupiter both do really well in Pisces. Neptune is, considered with some astrologers the co-ruler of Pisces. I happen to think it's just a really natural influencer, and the ruler is Jupiter in Pisces. So these two planets are really, really strong. And when the moon is opposing Neptune specifically, there may be a tendency of not being able to gain clarity, especially about emotional clarity, right? Or high mind aspect clarity. It's almost as if you can't find direction, as if you're driving through fog, right? You know the road is there, but you don't have clarity for it. And this can create emotional sensitivity, okay? A lack of emotional grounding. Add Jupiter to the mix, and now all of a sudden we have this maybe overindulgence of emotional sensitivity, or we have an extravaganza of sudden feelings of emotional rawness. So this moon, it is an earth moon, but there's also this higher nebulousness that's going to happen, potentially happen, I don't want to say happen, join, right? There's this co-essence that could potentially manifest as far as emotions. So be mindful. You may be, a little bit more emotionally sensitive, or you may be around others, depending on where this falls in their chart, where you might be a little bit more emotionally sensitive. So then this last aspect to this moon, and this is the part that's been going on more so than not this last week, and I don't know about you all, but this week for me astrologically has been just like very dynamically shifting. I feel great, I don't feel great, I feel great, I don't feel great. And so, there's my camera. It was a little cricket right there. Again, I'm on my phone, sorry. So this interplay between Mars and Venus in Aquarius, they're still dancing together. They're going to be dancing together until I think the end of March. And so this Mars, action, motivation, separation energy, this fire energy with Venus, the love, the essence, the beauty, the money, okay, coming together in Aquarius. Aquarius is the air sign, and it's a fixed air sign. And so there may be a sense of detachment emotionally, a subtleness behind all of this in the background during this full moon. But these two planets, Mars and Venus, are squaring Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus is the energy of sudden electrification, right? Sudden changes, feeling restless, especially when it's in a square. So don't be surprised if maybe in your interactions, okay, you may find a little bit more aggression or assertiveness, or maybe just flat out conflict, or feeling like, oh, I just want something to change and it's not changing. So again, there's that emotional, overindulgence or sensitivity that's gonna potentially manifest with this full moon. So anyhow, what I suggest you do, take account of where in your life you may need to be more grounded the next few days, but also recognize that this Virgo full moon is also about service to others as much as self-care for yourself, right? Yeah, so I'm interested in finding out how this one plays out, because it's got the energy of being, overly emotional, and maybe feeling restless and frustrated. But then this one last aspect, the moon is also trining Pluto in Capricorn. So this is a more stabilizing energy. The moon in Pluto usually has an emotional intensity to it, but when it's in a trine and it's earth to earth, grounding earth, this may give you a really good sense of ability to ground emotionally and focus on those things that you might need to get done. So again, this moon is it's very dynamic, not as dynamic as last month's, but I think this has the quality of emotional sensitivity, the opportunity to ground emotionally, but also recognizing that there's areas where you may feel like you just want to change just suddenly. I suggest you don't. Hold off on that. All right, everyone, if you want to learn more about your astrology or maybe how this full moon is going to affect you, or if you're seeking maybe mental health services here in Texas, reach out. I'm a licensed professional counselor as well as a professional astrologer. So yeah, let's see how this full moon works out. I'm interested in knowing how it works out for you. And if you want to share, please do. All right, I am out of here. That is about it. Again, the full moon happens tomorrow, the 18th of March, 2:42, I believe, a.m., but you will feel it 24 hours before and 24 hours afterwards. And if you're really interested, that would be a great time to cleanse your crystals. Just put them out there under the full moon. Tell them you love them. And that's it. I'm out. You can find me at silvermooncounseling.org. That's silvermooncounseling.org. Or here, you can text, email, send me smoke signals. It's all good. All right, everyone. Take care. Blessed be.